Hello everybody and welcome to a Replica Airguns tabletop review. My name is Michael K and we're looking at the Umarex Beretta Model 84FS, and this is a CO2 Blowback BB pistol, again from Umarex. If you haven't watched my field test review for this pistol, make sure to do so. I'll put a link in the description for you as well so you can check that out. Alright, so what do we have here? We have a BB shooting replica of a Beretta Model 84FS, commonly referred to as the Cheetah. This pistol is made in Taiwan. Comes in the nice box here. Show it to you real quick while we're at it. Alright. 360 FPS, 17 rounds, full metal, 12 grams CO2 steel BBs. Take a quick look at the back, some more information on the back. Alright. Discard that for now. Of course, we'll have a manual that comes with it. Alright, information on how to use it, load it, safety measures, aim, things like that, warranty information. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the specifications of the Umarex Beretta Model 84FS. Again, it has blowback action. The slide locks back after the last shot, so it has a working slide, release, and catch. It's pretty much an all-metal pistol. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. Shoots 4.5mm steel BBs, no airsoft BBs. This gun has a 17-shot full-size dropout magazine that holds the CO2 and the BBs. It has a smoothbore barrel, shoots in single action only, and has a claimed FPS of 360 feet per second. This pistol is also fully licensed, has the Beretta licensing throughout. Let's compare this gun a little bit to some other guns I have here. This is not a BB gun. This is not a real gun, this is a blank gun. This is my Echo Special 99. Shoots blanks, but it is a Cheetah or a Beretta 84FS copy. Very similar, as you can see. Alright, this gun shoots, I believe, 9mm blanks. Very similar size, design. No licensing on the Echo Special 99. Different finish, of course, as well. Okay. And of course we have the big brother, the 92. Kind of styled after the 92FS. This is sort of a Taurus Beretta slash whatever. A little bit different in the way that the safety works on it compared to a real Beretta. But the Taurus, again, was styled after the original Beretta, so that's where it comes from. And this is the big brother. You can see it's a lot larger in size, and that's a Cybergun slash KWC product. You can get it in the, well, not so much the Cybergun GSG92 version, but we have the Swiss Arms branded ones, different branded versions from KWC as well. Alright. At this point, we're going to do a quick walk around, show you some of the workings, and even do a field strip in a bit here. Alright, let's take a look at the right side of this pistol. You can see we have the Beretta licensing, serial number, again working slide catch release. Slide locks back when the BBs are out, which is nice. Working safety. Okay. There is CO2 in this gun, so I've got to be a little careful. No BBs. There's your magazine release there. And you have this, which is interesting. This is sort of your spring mechanism. I don't know if that would be on the real gun, but it makes the magazine pop out. We'll take a look at that magazine. And this, talked about it with my Umarex Makarov Ultra version, but this essentially feeds a BB into the breech of the barrel. When you do the forward or the first portion of the trigger, what happens, and I'll show you again, what happens is this mechanism, this is the first part of the trigger, pushes this forward. So you go like this, that comes forward, pushes the BB into the breech barrel area, and then this is nice and snug. You're not losing any CO2 in the magazine area by doing this, but you will notice some friction at the first part of the trigger, especially when there's BBs being pushed. And some people have said put some oil or different oils in here. You want to use safe oils for air guns that aren't going to affect the seals and whatnot, but some Pelgan oil in here, possibly in this area, you know, along the spring area would be a good idea. lubricate that, and you might not notice the friction as much. I haven't tried it myself, but it's supposed to help. Okay, so you can see here how that pushes that whole mechanism forward. Very cool. Okay, BBs, again, load through this little bottom piece here, go up, release the follower, pushes the BBs up. You have this plastic CO2 tab, pop your CO2 in, you just finger tighten it, use a little Pelgan oil again. There's your valve right here. Alright, put that back in. Nice Beretta licensing again. Again, here's your safety. Not sure if it's plastic or metal. It's hard to tell sometimes. Doesn't feel necessarily like it is metal, but it probably is. Slide catch release is metal. Hammer's metal. There's your sights. Rear sight. Firing pin in there. Open barrel here. Typical to the Beretta. Okay, your front sight. Let's take a look at the... Actually, that was the left side. I said right, but it's left. This is the right side. Alright, here we go. Model 84 FS, you got your warning instructions, but they're black, they're not white, which is nice. Your takedown, this is how you take it down. I'll show you that in a bit here. You basically push that up and you can move this around. So, you've actually got ambidextrous safeties, more licensing. Okay, I'm going to show you this trigger here just a little bit here. So it is single action only. We cannot use the double action. Now even when you cock the hammer, you'll notice the trigger doesn't come back. Like on a lot of single action, when you cock the hammer, the trigger comes back as well with a short take up. You have a long take up, and that's because, again, you're moving that, right? So that's normal. Trigger itself, the release is fairly nice. Nothing wrong with it, but you are going to have a little friction at the beginning as that BB is being forced into the breech or barrel. Okay, let's do a field strip while we're at it here. So again, you push this in, which pops that out a little bit, and then you just exactly use that. Now we're ready to take it apart, and it should come out here. I don't want to force anything. Something seems to be stuck a little bit. There we go. Spring was a little stuck. I'm not really sure why, but it does come apart. So this kind of got stuck in there. Put that back on there. Alright, so there's your inner workings. Again, there's that part there. And this is the blowback chamber in the back. Okay, so if you look on the back side of the slide, there's your blowback seal. There's your firing pin. Okay, there's your open slide area there. Pretty straightforward. Put the gun back together. Just do it in reverse order. Okay, that's it. All you got to do. Push that in again, makes it a bit easier. And we're ready. Let's see this gun shoot a little bit here. I'm going to hold the slide catch release down. Very fast slide. Lots of blowback. It'll catch back now because I didn't hold the slide catch release down and there are no BBs in the gun. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the performance in terms of the shooting. Again, check out my field test. I videoed it from multi-camera angles, 3 cameras going on, so it's pretty entertaining. You can check this gun out in action. But we basically have, at the biggest point, a 2-inch group. At the smallest point, if you take rid of that one there, you got about a 1.25 inch group, maybe 1.5 maximum. But the grouping was really, really good. And as you can see here, we're just above center. A little bit above, pretty well centered, maybe a hair to the right, but not bad at all in terms of centering. These sights aren't adjustable, so that's pretty good that it's fairly well centered to begin with. I did get an average of 363 FPS with my 5-shot chrono test. Again, a 1.5 inch grouping, 10 shots, not bad. Overall, this gun has decent blowback, not as hard as the Makarov Ultra. It's a little quicker, a little snappier, not quite as hard, I'd say, but still good. The slide's fairly heavy. Not too bad, so you do feel it. And again, the trigger has that little bit of creep at the beginning, a little bit of resistance or friction. Gonna try putting some Pelgan oil in there and see if I can get rid of that. But overall, this gun shoots really nice. Alright, let's talk about some pros and cons. A lot of pros for this gun. Good price really overall for what you get. Right now we're selling it in the Replica Airgun store for about $108 in the Canada store, a little cheaper in the US. We're out of stock right now at the time of this video. But you know, we get Umarex products in regularly, so keep posted on that, check for that. This gun had decent accuracy, power, and CO2 usage when you consider all three. Again, a good combination of power, accuracy, and usage. Gonna get around 80 shots or so out of this gun per CO2 cartridge if you don't shoot them too fast. Overall, it's a really great replica of an original Beretta 84 FS. Very, very close to the real steel version. I was really impressed with the weight and feel, and the fit and finish is just awesome. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. There is no slide wobble at all. A lot of times blowback guns, these BB guns, are going to have some slack, some slide wobble. There is none. I can't even get it to wobble at all. So the fit and finish is really quite good. Again, this pistol had decent blowback action. Not as crisp as some, but still I love the blowback action. Just gives you that realism. And the working slide catch release that actually locks back on the last BB is nice. That way you're not wasting CO2. You're ready to go after you load up your magazine. Pop it in, release that slide, and you're good to go. Like the ambidextrous working safety, just like the real steel version again. And the full-size dropout magazine that holds the BBs and CO2, everybody's looking for that in these guns. Stick magazines are great, but when you have the full-size mag with the CO2 and BBs, that's even better. And this gun is so realistic, it can be field stripped in much the same manner as a real Beretta 84. That's always a plus. And as you can see, it's fully licensed, has the Beretta licensing throughout. Couple cons with this gun, there's always some cons. The CO2 tab on the bottom again, you know, a little bit of a drawback, but not a big deal. You'll find that quite often with full-size dropout metal magazines. The only other workaround is some sort of a Allen key that you got to make sure you have on hand. And what if you misplace it or you can't find it, then you're kind of out of luck. Again, the trigger, even though it's single action, is much longer than you'd find on the real single action pistol like this. Essentially so that you can allow for the BB to be chambered. And you will notice it is a little bit frictiony there. Again, I'm going to try some Pelgan oil on there and see if that gets rid of it. Alright, so make sure to pick one of these up from our Canada and US online Replica Airgun stores located at replicaairguns.ca and replicaairguns.com. I'll also have a written post with some additional photos over at replicaairguns.com for you to check out. I'll put a link again in the description. If you're interested in other products other than steel BB pistols, we have airsoft, pellet, blank, knives, and accessories over at replicaairguns.com and .ca, so check that out as well. Don't forget to subscribe before you head out. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.